So back to Epictetus. This is the camera on which I look like a zombie, but that's okay. I have zombie course today. Okay, so where was I? Epictetus, right? The four virtues, which I've made into three, right? Power, nobility, gratitude. All of it, of course, has to do with aligning with the gods, which is another word for, sorry? No, nobility, power, gratitude, aligning with the gods, which is another word for the intelligence of nature, right? Which we talked about before. So just to review, right? Anybody can remind me, what is the power virtue? What does it look like when you use that virtue in Epictetus? You can remember, let's review a little bit. It's been a week.
You said the power.
Mhm.
And when we can't choose how we were born, but we can change that. Like basically,
We can't change it, but
I mean, yeah, we can make something out of it.
there you go. Okay, very good, right? We can't choose certain things that come our way or where we come from or the body we have or the intelligence we have, but we can make something out of it. We always have creative power because we are part of the gods, right? Because part of us is divine. We have the same demiurge power, the same creative power to make something out of nothing, right? So that's the first thing we learned. Nobility, what was that about? Yes.
The ability to know who you are and where you come from.
Okay, and what happens when you know this? Yes?
When you know where you come from like us, if we know that we're from the gods, it gives us a whole new perspective on things. It allows us to not be bothered with other things.
Exactly, right? When you're of royal blood, the little things, the trivialities, the pettiness around you doesn't affect you because you're so much higher, right? You never go low, right? You remain on your level, which is royal level, right? So you don't feel like you need to engage with pettiness. So we talked about that. So today we go into one of the main virtues of Stoicism, which is gratitude. And here's where we're going to go into the beautiful imagery of the banquet, which is one of my favorites, which we'll talk about in a bit. But let's summarize a little bit what this is and then go in the text and then call it a day. It'll be a little shorter day today. So again, this notion, if there is an intelligence guiding our lives, right? Remember, the gods is not just an abstract intelligence. It's not just the laws of nature. It's an intelligence for your life. It's a design for your life. So the gods are interested in our lives, right? Or in other words, nature is interested in each one of our lives and is guiding it and orchestrating it, right? And so if we believe this, right, if we believe also that if it's divine, that means it's good, right, then we can really relax, right? And remember, right, he's not just you can say, okay, well, he's speculating that there is such a gods, these gods that are, designing our lives. But remember, this is a product of a long life, right? He's looking back on his life as a slave, eventually as a free man. And he's deducing, right, from the way his life has unraveled, that there has to be some design, there had to be some intelligence guiding him, right? So he's really revealing to us the lessons that he learned in his life. He's calling it the gods, right? He's using kind of a religious language, but I think we need to just follow the general idea, right, of aligning, of gratitude, of attuning ourselves, because that for him is what brought him where he ended up, right? He's revealing to us the secrets of his shift from slavery to freedom, right? And in a way, we can benefit from these secrets, right? So one of the secrets, he says, is the ability to trust the universe, right? Universe, whatever is doing, the design is good. If you're in this place, there is a reason. If you were born in that family, there is a reason. If you have this handicap, there is a reason, right? If you're struggling with this relationship, there is a reason. Or if you're, dealt a poor hand in terms of finances, there is a reason, right? And so in a way, we trust the universe. And he says two things happen when you begin to trust that the universe has placed you where you need to be. First thing that happens, right, is that you, in a way, begin to align, you accept it, and you learn what you need to learn in that season, thereby preparing you for the next season. So first thing that happens when you accept it, when you surrender to the design of the universe, is you're able to really inhabit the present moment and undergo the preparation for what is next, right? What he's saying in a way is to make sure that we realize that wherever we are right now is a holy preparation for what is next. That's the first thing that you realize when you surrender. Okay, so make sure you write this down. Wherever you are right now is a holy preparation for what is next. And so to the degree that you really inhabit the present moment and do the best you can with what you have, you're not just happier because you're now just relaxing into this present moment, but you're also preparing for the next, for what is next. Okay, so two things. Number one, you'll be happier because you're not fighting it anymore. You're accepting it. You're ready to dwell into this moment. You're ready to receive the treasures of darkness. You're ready to really learn what needs to be learned in this season. But at the same time, you're really preparing yourself for what is next. You're accepting your fate. And in doing so, you're moving forward. This is the paradox of Stoicism, is by accepting that you move forward, right? It's not by fighting your fate that you move forward. It's by accepting, dwelling in it, embracing it, that you're going to go to the next level, right? Because why? Because you've attuned to nature, and therefore now nature can move you. If you're fighting nature, can nature move you? If you're in a stream of water and you're trying to go upstream, can they move you? Can the water move you downstream? No, you got to relax and then it moves you downstream. That's how it is with life. Stop fighting life and trying to swim upstream. Relax into the stream of life and you will get places, right? But here we are fighting, trying to go upstream like salmon, right? And we're not realizing that actually we're moving nowhere when we're fighting it. So the advice here is relax where life has put you. Enjoy it. Do whatever needs to be done there. Create something out of it. And as you do that, as you relax into the present moment, as you stop fighting, boom, you will begin to move. As you follow the imagery, that's the paradox. As you accept, you move, right? We think we're going to move by fighting, struggling, not accepting. Text is saying, no, as you accept, as you embrace, that's when life can finally move you places, right? I saw a couple hands. There was Özcan and then Arsenas. Özcan, you remember your question?
You kind of answered what I was going to say, but also, I don't think it's that you don't go anywhere. I think it's worse that you should drown.
So yeah, you could drown too. Yeah. So either you're staying in one place because you're fighting the current, right? When you're fighting the current, where do you go? Nowhere. You think you're doing a lot of movement, but you're not really going anywhere. When you're fighting too much, you can sink, right? When you finally relax, that's when the river can take you places, right? So that's a very, very good image, I think, for what he's trying to say. That it summarizes very well the paradox that doing nothing will get you further than doing in this situation, right? Or trying to, of course you do, but you do within where you've been placed, right? So we should think about what that looks like, right? Let me give you some examples, right? Suppose you're jobless. Let's think of COVID. COVID is a great example. We're all on lockdown. So some of us got really depressed, right? But, right, so after the first 3 days of despair, right, it would have been good for some of us to think, okay, I'm in COVID, I'm on lockdown. Let me stop fighting this and complaining about the lockdown, right? And let me start to see, what can I do in this lockdown, right? What are some things I can begin to do in this season where there's no work, no school, no socialization? What are some, right? And some of us were very good at this, right? We found after the initial despair and fighting against and trying to, complain about everything, we start to embrace it and to do something. This is what he's talking about. Any situation, you can do something with it. There's some treasure there, something to learn, something to experience that we can, and I think COVID is the best example, right, of this. Arsena, sorry, I skipped you. Go ahead.
One Stoic practice that I employed in my life is you take a cold shower that's extremely cold, rather than fight against the cold, you can just relax into the cold. It has beneficial hormonal effects. Supposedly it's cold outside, but I did not feel cold today, despite wearing nothing but a thin t-shirt, because I'm not resisting the cold. I fully accept the temperature or whatever it is. I am patient with it. I am fine with it. I even find joy in it.
Good, exactly.
Because of that, I did not feel any resistance or any discomfort at all. I'm probably the most comfortable person on NYC right now.
Very good. And you know that when you start to, in the cold, if you start to fight it, you contract. And that's when you have the cold symptoms of shaking, right? Actually, you should relax in the cold. You'll feel warmer. Why? Because you will circulate better, right? What makes you cold is, right? So in a way, he's right, right? So this is a good metaphor for life, right? Okay, so let's go now to some of these texts and get some ideas of this. This is where we're going to find the text with the banquet, which I like a lot. Let's go to page 10 first. Okay, true instruction, next to last paragraph. Okay, true instruction, who is with me? Wave at me. Okay, good. True instruction is this: to learn to wish that each thing should come to pass as it does. Okay, there's a very famous Roman Latin phrase that you guys can memorize. Some of you use it for the internet password. Amor. Very famous quote, right? Amor fati, love your fate, right? Amor is love, fati is fate, right? Love my fate, right? So now this is very famous quote coming from these texts, from the Stoics, to learn to love our fate, right? To learn to wish that each thing should come to pass as it does, right? Because each thing has its own opportunity, its own beauty, each situation, each person, right? And in a way, to wish it is to really begin to enjoy it and embrace it, and then, surrender to the stream and get to where that person or that situation is bringing us, right? Yes.
Yeah, similar to the mental warning, where you remember that everything comes to an end.
Yes.
And by knowing that, you kind of find an appreciation for life.
Exactly, right? Similar, and actually that's actually also a Stoic thought. I didn't go into the ideas on death here, but he has a lot of this notion also to learn how to die, right? And maybe we'll see that with the banquet a little bit. So he continues, and how does it come to pass? As the disposer has disposed it, right? So again, this idea of an intelligent design for our lives, right? We've learned about intelligent design for nature, right? There's been some proof of that in the sense that everything seems to work according to certain laws. There seems to be a design in the universe, right? According to Epictetus, there's an intelligent design for each one of our lives, right? There is an orchestration of our lives. And he's able to say this because he has lived a life, right? He has seen how things were orchestrated and designed in his own life, right? So he's really, the proof here is in his experience, right? He's talking as a wise man. So he continues, now he has disposed that there should be summer and winter, and plenty and dearth, and vice and virtue, and all such opposites for the harmony of the whole. So notice, right, like the Tao Te Ching, remember? Tao Te Ching was saying crooked and straight, right? Full and empty, the ability to embrace all. This is the idea, right? There's summer, but there's winter, and both are beautiful, right? There's plenty and there's dearth. Dearth is a lack, scarcity. Both are beautiful. Vice and virtue, he goes as far to say, right? Both are experiences we should have, vice and virtue, right? And then he says all such opposites, right, are necessary to enjoy and to learn from and to experience if we want to reach a harmonious life, right? Okay, so because of this disposer. Next quote is on 13. This is the banquet quote that I like. Okay, 13. Oh, here. Yes, the second paragraph. When we're invited to a banquet, we take what is set before us, right? So in other words, you're invited at a banquet, you're not going to be like, hey, where's dessert, damn it? Like, what is this, right? No, were one to call upon his host to set fish upon the table or sweet things, he would be deemed absurd, right? Do not be, in other words, rude to the disposer, right? Or rude to the demiurge. Whatever is set before you, you should trust that the host has an idea, right? You should trust that the host has a series of courses for you, and that dessert is coming, right? It's not yet, it's not time for dessert if you don't have yet dessert, right? That's the idea. Yet in a word, we ask the gods for what they do not give. And that, although they have given us so many things, right? So to be complaining about life is as though you were invited at a party, and there's so much food laid out, and you're sitting in a corner pouting because there's not, the salad you wanted, right? Are you crazy, right? You look stupid, he says, right? Just like that person who is ignoring the whole, imagine, like you have a whole setup. How many of you have been to this amazing restaurant called Shabu Shabu in Flushing? Anybody? Y'all should go. One person, okay, a couple of you, right? It's a setup, like everything is laid out. There's right, and here you are sitting here. I want to have this kind of mushroom. Why isn't there this kind of mushroom salad? Right? It's the same, right? If you're complaining, you're missing out. If you're complaining about something you don't have, you're missing out on everything you have, right? You're missing out on everything that has been given you. That's the idea here, right? Let's skip a little bit to 22. No, let's go to 59. No, let's go to 61. Let's stay with the banquet. 61 is more banquet imagery. Okay. Yes. Last lines on page 60. Remember, everybody with me? Yes. Remember that in life, thou should order thy conduct as at a banquet. Again, the same idea, right? Has any dish that is being served reached you? Stretch forth your hand and help yourself modestly, right? So if a dish has reached you, eat it. Maybe it's a little bitter, yes. Maybe it's a little too salty, maybe, right? But you still eat some of it, right? Does it pass you by? Seek not to detain it, right? Has it not yet come? Send not forth your desire to meet it, but wait until it reaches you, right? So this is really a philosophy of the banquet. Some dish is here, eat it. Dish passes you by, is not for you, it's for him or her, right? Dish has not yet come. You're confident that the host eventually will bring you the dessert or whatever you're waiting for, right? And then he continues, deal like this with children, with your wife, with the office, with wealth, and one day you will be meet to share the banquets of the gods, right? So in other words, if you act in this dignified way, in this polite way, right? If you're courteous, a good host to the great host of the universe, you will one day partake of the banquets of the gods, right? And then he continues and goes even further. If you don't even touch anything that is placed before you, you'll not only share in the banquet of the gods, but in their empire also. So if you're able to master even your desires, right? If you're able to be happy with even none of the dishes, you will not only go to the banquet of the gods, but you will share in the empire. So he's saying beyond even, right, tasting, waiting, he says, even if you have no dish in front of you and you're happy, you will share not only with the banquet, but to the empire. You will be as a god, right? Basically, that's the idea. So very, very beautiful thought. Let's see. Good. Let's skip a little bit to page 30. Let's conclude with page 30. I think we're good. I think we're getting the idea. Okay. Definition of a Stoic, last paragraph, very good definition. If you recall that, you will be the best Stoic in Queen's College. What then is a Stoic? In the sense that we call that a statue of Phidias, which is modeled after that master's art. Okay, so here it is. Show me a man in this sense, modeled after the doctrines that are ever upon his lips. So here's what a Stoic looks like. Show me a man that is sick and happy, in danger and happy, on his deathbed and happy, in exile and happy, in evil report and happy. Show me him, I say again, so help me heaven, I long to see even one Stoic, right? Nay, if you cannot show me one fully modeled, let me at least see one in whom the process is at work, one who is bent in that direction, right? Do me that favor. Grudge it not to an old man to behold a sight that he has never yet beheld. He's never seen a real Stoic, right? Thank you. I wish to see the Zeus or the Athena or Phidias. He's talking, do you think I wish to see a god, right? Decked in gold and ivory? No, he says, show me just one of you, a human soul desiring to be of one mind with God, right? So he says, I don't even need to see the gods decked in their splendor. For me, far more beautiful is the sight of one human being, right? Who is desiring to be of one mind with God. No more to lay blame on God or man, to suffer nothing to disappoint. Nothing can cross him. He yields neither to anger, envy, or jealousy. In a word, why disguise the matter? One that from a man would fain become a god, one that while still imprisoned in this dead body makes fellowship with God, right? That's the final conclusions. It's a beautiful way to put it, right? He says, show me one person who is in any situation happy, right? One person, even if he's not happy, at least trying to be, at least in the process, right? At least longing to be in attunement with the gods or with the mind of God, right? So that's in essence what a Stoic is. And once you relax into this acceptance, right? not only, let me really emphasize that, not only are you finally at peace, because you're not fighting anymore, but you're moving. And this is, I think, the part that, this is where I would be slightly critical of, or maybe emphasize something that Epictetus doesn't emphasize, is the notion that once you surrender into it, this is when destiny moves forward. They don't talk so much about that, right? This would be my analysis, right, is that it's not just about accepting. This would be my critique of Stoicism, right? It's not just, although accepting is very noble, it's not just about accepting. There has to be movement as far as I'm concerned. And the stream idea works very well, that once you relax into reality and embrace it, this is when reality can really move you in the direction of your true destiny, right? Okay, any questions, any final comments on Stoicism? This is it for today. We are done early as present. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording.